A Layman's Guide to Contemporary British Politics. If you are aged 18 or above, and you live in the United Kingdom, then you have the right to vote. Do you know what this really means? Do you know what the political parties stand for? Where your vote goes? What's happening in the world and the country today? So how do you find the answers to these much-needed questions? Perhaps you ask your friends, your teachers, your family. Perhaps you read a book, or consult some other information service. Or, perhaps like most people, you make a cup of tea, light a fag, and turn on the TV. In which case, you will be expecting a white man with a plummy voice to fill you in on what you should say and what you should think. Well, you're in luck. I'm a white man, and I've got a plummy voice. So I'm going to really simplify things and break it down so that everyone of every level, of every intellectual ability, can understand exactly what is happening politically in this, our great country, Great Britain, in the year 2013. Imagine, if you will, that Britain is a lady. She is a lady of very easy, very fickle persuasion, as the results of the last century's general elections have clearly shown. So, let's get to the parties. There's Nick Clegg of the Liberal Democrats, there's David Cameron of the Conservatives, there's Ed Miliband of the Labour Party, and there's Nigel Farage of the UK Independence Party. It's like this. Britain is lying on her back in a dark, sleazy room. Mr. Cameron, who has told everyone he has an enormous penis, is currently ploughing the lady from behind, his preferred modus operandi. Mr. Miliband, who claims to have an even larger penis, is waiting impatiently for Mr. Cameron to finish, at which point the lady will abandon Mr. Cameron's efforts in favour of Mr. Miliband's. Mr. Miliband does not like to hit the lady from behind. Mr. Miliband prefers a more decent, more mannered approach, and instead goes in through the front door. Mr. Clegg of the Liberal Democrats, whilst again claiming to have a penis of almost gargantuan proportions, is not really interested in having sex today. In fact, he's merely content to play with the tits while the other men go at it. Mr. Farage of UKIP is not allowed inside the room, as the other men consider him too enormous a penis to compete with. His presence would simply be deemed unacceptable. Instead, he paces the corridor outside the room, in the desperate hope that if he prevents any minorities from gaining access to the lady, he may stand a slight chance of getting a peck on the cheek several years down the line. So, my friends, if you ever find yourself in a quandary, worried that you don't know the state of current British politics, worry not. Simply think of a dishevelled prostitute lying on her back in a dark brothel being ploughed or played with by a number of white middle-aged men, and it'll all come flooding back. Thanks for listening.